Welcome back to Infamously Speaking. We promised we'd be back with another instant reaction video after Game 7. And what shout out to Quan predicted would be a very thorough, easy bludgeoning of the Denver Nuggets. So flowers to you, Quan. Gotta get props where it's due. I know it was a snooze fest, but what impressed you most about OKC's win? Dominant win over Denver.
Defense. Their
Hell yeah.
defense by far.
Hell yeah.
I admitted it. I didn't see a lot of OKC games this year. Even this one, like you said, I texted you, it was a snooze fest. Literally, I passed out twice watching this game. I what I'll say is that defensively they looked amazing, right? But I'll tell you one thing. What I also took away from this game was we talked a little bit about this last game, last recap with the Knicks. Like if the Knicks play that way, they should win the finals and just walk through.
Yep.
It's easy to say that when you watch the game, but I'm telling you, based off what I saw, OKC might just run away with this championship. They were clicking on all cylinders.
Bold.
And unlike when I watched the Knicks play, when I watched the Timberwolves handle Golden State, it it almost looked effortlessly throughout the whole team, right? Like, we you know how the saying goes: defense wins championships. So, and that's another reason why it looked effortless, because the defense was so good. They were getting layups, dunks, easy baskets.
Easy.
And when you can make the game easier for yourself, man, it'll be the difference maker. Even when they was up 20, I remember SGA. He did like a little step back, took a three. There was real no closeout on the 3-point jump shot. Not saying that other teams won't do that. Denver probably felt a little defeated at that time. It was late in the third.
100%.
Up 20. And yeah, man, they look good. I was gonna text you this earlier today, and I was gonna say, does winner of the game win MVP?
I almost felt like, because normally it's announced by now. I feel I don't know what the past dates of the past announcement dates of last couple of years have been, but I feel like this announcement's been late, and they kept on bringing it up on the broadcast. Like, we should know already. But I wonder, and it's a regular season award, but I really wonder if they're like, whoever wins this game should win the MVP.
From what I remember correctly, it does happen late in the season, usually right when the final starts. So I always felt like that.
Okay.
I always felt like that played a part, even though it's not supposed to. Well, here's why I didn't text you this. Here's why I didn't text you this. Joker don't give a fuck about being MVP, bro. So I didn't want to put that out there because it's pointless. To him, it's pointless. He don't really care. Or at least he makes it seem that way, right? Even when they lost, did you see his post interview? I just caught a glimpse of it.
No, I didn't. I didn't catch it. He's probably like, I'm ready to go back to my horse.
Like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And he's like, I don't know, but there's gonna be a lot of beers the next couple of days. And it's funny because most people will take that as like he don't give a fuck, or he don't. And I won't say not give a fuck. I think they'll think more of he didn't put his all in. He's not there. But I would disagree and say, even though that's his monotone or his tone or his responses, I don't think that determines or defines how he plays the game. Because when he's on the court, bro, he tries his best to get that dub for sure.
Oh, 100%. I love that you called out OKC's defense, because 100%, that's what they were down 11 in the first quarter. And that's what got them back into the game and allowed them to build this massive lead. I mean, look at it, Denver, 22 turnovers, OKC, 16 steals. I mean, they were just aggressive in the lane. Caruso played a fantastic game, even though the box score might not necessarily reflect it 100%. But they were plus 40 in this 26 minutes on the court, which is ridiculous for a bench player to have that much impact. But even when he was trying to deny Jokic the ball in the post, he did a really good job of doing that. And then Shea was big time. Jalen Williams had the big bounce back game. I remember you calling that out too on the last show that we did. He was gonna need to have a big game, and he stepped up, got some easy baskets. But one thing I will say about Jokic, you know how much I love Jokic, was how can you only get 9 shots up in a game?
He only
7?
took 9 shots?
5 for 9. Now he was 9-11 at the free throw line, but a lot of that came early in the game. That's how Denver built that big lead, because they weren't shooting necessarily well. But 5 for 9. Like Christian Braun took more shots than he did. Christian Braun took 14. I mean, he needs to take. He needs to demand the ball. I think get it. There was, but he's the most dominant player in the league, man.
So I was gonna tell you that, and me and you talked offline one day, and I was telling you how I'm not a big stats guy sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with being a stats guy. In fact, it's probably better because you have the very exact information that some people want. But I'm more of like an eye kind of guy, right? When I'm watching, like, I'll give you an example. Christian, he probably had more shots, but how many of those was during the time when there was no chance of them coming back? It's almost like Pritchard. Pritchard had, how many points Pritchard had last game? I didn't even look because it didn't matter.
And he ended up with a good amount, but a lot of it was garbage time.
A lot of it was garbage time. Exactly.
Brown's wasn't though. Brown was the offense. Like he was the offense early
throughout. So I know that, and that it's funny. Because like I said, I caught the end of the second when Oklahoma went on that big run. They stole the ball like 3 or 4 times, and they all equated to baskets. Jay Will hit a 3. Jay Will had I've seen him score 4 times in a row. There's even a play when Caruso stole it, and he's bringing up the court on the right side. SGA is trailing in the middle, and Jay Will is slightly behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was going to throw it to SGA. SGA thought he was going to throw it to him, but he actually passed to Jay Will, got an easy lay. I say that because Jay Will was hot, and they kept him hot. Easily you could get out SGA, right? He's going to get that bucket. But I like that. They kept him involved. I don't know what Aaron Gordon's stats was. I know we talked about that, but him playing was a factor, but it's not as impactful because he's not healthy. You could see him walking around gingerly.
Yeah, he was still impactful though. I mean, he had only Michael Porter Jr. had a better plus minus. Michael Porter Jr. was -8. They were -9 with Gordon on the court. Which, for those that don't know what that means, that just means that when Aaron Gordon was on the court, Denver got outscored by 9 points. Which, for a guy who's hobbled, grade 2 hamstring strain is ridiculous. I mean, for context, Steph Curry didn't play; he had a grade 1 hamstring strain. So the grade 2 one is worse. Gordon was impactful early. He had 11 rebounds, and a lot of those came early. I think he had 5 in the first quarter. I mean, he was
he had a few layups. Yeah.
You could tell though.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he wasn't impactful. I knew he would be. I've said it for years. He's an X factor on that team. It's just
it definitely wasn't the same for sure. Absolutely. Even if he was good, I mean, Oklahoma City they just brought it to a level defensively, which
you made a good point, which I also saw, was Caruso defending Jokic to deny him the ball. There was a play where that happened, and then a pick or something happened, and Chet got on to Jokic, and you can see Jokic's demeanor, oh, Caruso's off me, I got Chet, let me
give me the ball.
Yeah. Which is crazy, right. That's not normal since Chet is 7'11" or whatever the hell he is.
Close to it. So I'm curious what your thoughts are. We've talked about this with most of the eliminated teams. Where does Denver go? Because obviously OKC ain't going away.
Do they have to make moves like that? They got a good team. I think they could use another shooter. Michael Porter Jr., is he going to be there? He's a great shooter, but he's inconsistent.
And he was hurt. His shoulder was hurt, but I agree. And streaky shooter when he is healthy. That was the biggest thing that I noticed, is that because they weren't able to hit threes, They were only 22%, 10 for 45 from the 3-point line. We kind of talked about it in the recap of Game 6. Is that when Strother hit those threes late in Game 6, it spaced the floor more for them. The spacing was terrible. There was a lot of times Aaron Gordon and Jokic would end up close to each other on the same side of the court on the perimeter, and it was just awkward. That's why a lot of turnovers. They had to fling the ball across court, and they're able to jump into the passing lanes, get easy turnovers. So I agree. They need some shooting, big time. But I think I'm not saying they need to make a move for a big star, but they definitely got to make moves, because if you look at it, the two teams in the finals were the two teams that beat them back-to-back years. Minnesota beat them the year before last year, and now OKC. And both those teams are only going to get better, you would assume. OKC with more experience, with the potential to make a move if they wanted to, because they have all the great depth and all the picks. And then Minnesota, I mean, Ant, who knows what his ceiling is. He just seems to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, and if he could piece a whole game together in these playoffs, Minnesota could be spooky. So let's talk about that Western Conference matchup. This is the one that you predicted, Oklahoma City versus Minnesota. For those that didn't get a chance to watch our recap that we did on, was that Friday? Yeah, Friday. Who do you like in the series?
I think OKC is gonna win. I want Minnesota to win. But I think OKC is going to win.
It's hard to pick against them after watching that.
And like I said, SGA is he's smooth. He is a smooth player. He's a smooth criminal, man. I watched him too throughout the Olympics, right? And they showcased him on the Netflix show too. He's built for this, bro. He's had his moments. I don't think being in this at this point in his career, like where they are, is gonna be too bright for him. So I think they got it. I think Caruso's a dog. It's gonna be a good match though, because Da Vinci's a dog. Like Nas Reed, we talked about. I think. Damn. The problem, if I'm being honest, is I haven't watched enough OKC games to see. But
it's been a lot of that.
They've been playing like this. It's been a lot of that because the number one seed.
68 wins, man. 68 wins in the regular season is insane. And there's been a lot of that.
OKC is gonna win, but it would have been nice to see Minnesota go to the finals.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I believe I said whoever won this series was gonna win the West. I think I said that on the last recap.
No. Well, you did because
you asked me
like Denver was impossible to lose.
Well, and then you were like, what happens if OKC makes it? And I was like, well, then I'm picking OKC. And you're like, well, Minnesota doesn't have a chance. And I was like, no.
Okay, that's fair.
After watching that, my gosh, we've seen defensive intensity in the playoffs, and then then there's that. There's that.
Yeah.
So
and it's not. And just to be clear for those watching, it's not one of those caught in the moments for Matt. I don't feel like. Because Matt is not really one to be like, oh, I just seen this, and it's more of like putting all the pieces together. I'm a little bit caught in the moment only because I haven't watched a lot of their games, but based off their record, I can feel like or tell you that they've been doing something right all season.
And and I think that the thing about Minnesota is we would have expected them to even though they beat the Warriors in 5 games, they should have handily beat the Warriors in 5 games. Like the game should have never been close, and they were late in the game. I think the Warriors were up. Was it game 3 or 4? The Warriors were leading in the 4th quarter, and there was another game the Warriors were leading after half. I mean, there's no way that should ever be the case. What's that?
Last game they smoked them.
Yeah, it was the last game they smoked them.
What did it go? 5 games?
Yeah,
went 5 games. Game 5 they smoked them. Game 4 was close at half, but then they ended up smoking them. So it wasn't as close as you think it is.
It shouldn't even have been that close, period, is what I'm saying, because we saw it.
But yeah, but you said like
Warriors can't run offense, bro. They can't run offense without Steph. I was thinking about something, and I was like, should we make a longer video about it? Which is Steph Curry got a case to be the greatest point guard of all time,
bro.
And I know you got him second. So that means he is because you have him over Magic. The stats say
Yeah.
Magic, but I know you said you're not a stat guy. I mean, neither of us saw Magic play live. So
did I send you that thing? Did I send you that? Actually, I sent you that thing about this is how LeBron fans see LeBron, but it had nothing to do with LeBron. It was actually Shaq made like thousands of more free throws than Steph Curry, like over 1,000 more free throws.
right.
So they was like, does that make Shaq the better free throw shooter?
No, it's your percentage.
And they brought it to LeBron because they're saying because LeBron got so many points, but that's because
He's played so much longer,
longevity.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but he averaged a whole lot over that longevity. But I was thinking about it because I was thinking about you and how everybody was killing you because of your Steph Curry take. And then we watched that series, and I was just like, man, I don't know if I've ever seen a team look so bad offensively. A playoff team, a team that had Jimmy Butler, who's capable,
with Jimmy Butler, yeah,
who's capable, more than
Yeah.
capable, look so bad without one player on the court because it's not what he does. Obviously, when he has the ball, he's a killer. But it's what he does when he doesn't have the ball that stresses a defense so much.
He's running everywhere.
He's run.
You got to communicate because you
offense.
got to switch off the picks. Yeah, all that shit.
He's running the offense without the ball. He's running the offense. Which how many
Draymond
point
said it.
guards? How many point guards in the history of the game can you say were able to execute the offense at the same level or maybe even better without the ball than they were with the ball?
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's insane, and you can see the difference, like you said. Draymond said something too I seen where he was like, Steph made it so easy for everybody. Even KD. Like KD would get wide open down the lane dunks. When is KD doing that? Because you got Steph on the wing. You can't
It's crazy.
You can't double.
It's crazy. Yeah. Man. I was thinking about, I'm like, man, should we make a long video about it? You know, but then people are gonna go into all the stats, right? And then we would say eye test, but I never got the chance to see Magic play live. You can watch back and watch the games, but you know, we always talk about actually being able to watch it live and know what it meant in the moment is you'll never be able to capture that through watching like a YouTube video of a game or something. Back to Minnesota though, because I don't want Minnesota fans to listen in, but wow, we have no chance at all. I mean, you could argue when Ant is in his zone, because it seems like you said, SJ, it seems like he's always in his zone, right? The game just seems so easy to him. Never seems too fast for him. He plays at his own pace. He's never forcing it. Shit. He can get to the hoop at will. But when Ant's in his zone, you know, that's a push, right? So then it's like, all right, who has the better team? And you would just think off the rip Oklahoma City, but Minnesota got pieces. I mean, I know you always talk about Naz Reid. Jaden McDaniels has been playing out of his mind these playoffs. Julius Randle beating the playoff Julius accusations. You said the Da Vinci Code, Dante DiVincenzo. So how many games do you think this goes? I think it's going to be a competitive series.
I do too. I want to say 6. My heart is telling me 6. I'd like to see 7, but I think 6. Yeah. Like you said, with a team like Oklahoma, it's gonna be hard for them to win if Ant starts off slow, like you said, because
they could be down 20 quick.
That defense is crazy, bro.
Yeah, I forgot what game we were talking about. It's like I've never seen a lead disappear that fast. I've never seen an 11-point lead disappear so fast. I mean, Reggie Miller's 8 points in 9 seconds, right? That's quick, obviously, but that's an anomaly. The Thunder just been doing this all year. I mean, maybe not because they don't find themselves down that much, but there was never a thought in my mind where I'm like, yeah, I mean, Denver would have had to been up maybe 30 to really feel good about themselves and their chance of winning the whole thing. But
yeah,
oh man,
it sucks too because a lot. Joker didn't get a lot of help at first. Throughout throughout the second and third, from what I saw, it was just it was struggles after struggles.
Everyone, yeah.
Did you see? Just because we're on basketball, and we're going to talk a little bit about this topic in a second. But did you see Jalen Brown was playing with a torn meniscus?
I did see that.
That's crazy, bro.
It's not surprising to me that he did, just because we know that's the kind of player he is. But it is shocking that he was able to play at a
level he played
level. At. Yeah, which again, we kept on mentioning that his shots kept on just falling short online, but short, and that explains why his lack of lift on the jump shot wasn't there. But torn meniscus, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
that was pretty impressive. So let's jump to the Eastern Conference. I think we both like the Thunder. You said Thunder in 6. I'm going to give Minnesota the benefit of the doubt. Say Thunder in 7. And if I want real quick before we jump. I said we're going to jump. I think the approach that Minnesota needs to look at it is this, because OKC is just such a dominant team, which is it's a best of 7. Make it a best of. Starts as a best of 7. Make it a best of 5. Make it a best of 3. Make it winner takes all. What I mean by that is just try to split. Win one, they win one, you win one. They win one, you win one. Just shorten the odds, because anything can happen in the game 7.
And that's what I was gonna. Since we're going to this topic, that's exactly what I was saying with Indiana. Try to just win one, and just split it up until you get to that game 7.
Indiana, I think they're more evenly matched than maybe this next series is. They definitely are.
What do you mean?
Like Indiana matches up with the Knicks well, better than the Timberwolves match up with the Thunder.
Okay.
So they're very capable of going in. And they won a big game 7 at MSG last year, even though the rosters are different. You still have that confidence, because it's really the same roster from last year for Indiana.
Yeah, but I think since you brought it up, and I was going to say that, I think the Knicks is running at an all-time high in confidence.
They should be.
I think they are, man. You take out the defending champs, minus all the excuses whoever else has them, and you have. How do you not feel confident with the fucking the stadium behind you? Because that New York is crazy, bro. New York is so crazy. They got ships crashing into Brooklyn bridges.
Oh, I saw that.
It was wild, bro.
Yeah, it was a movie Friday night. People on billboards. My only concern is, and I'm thankful that at least the players seem to have a cool demeanor. It's like, man, you still got 8 to go. You only halfway there.
8 to go. Yeah.
We just made the conference final. I get it's been 25 years, but we're only halfway there to the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So I know we said it again on the show on Friday, but just to recap, who do you like? How many games? What do you think? Whoever you pick to win, what do you think gives them the edge?
It's easy. Knicks in 7. A competitive series. But the greatest player that I've seen in New York history, Jalen Brunson, is the difference maker. And you know what? I got a question for them, huh? Yeah, because I didn't see.
You didn't see Clyde and Willis.
Yeah.
So really, it's just him and Melo.
It's him and Melo, and I wanted to ask like Ori and Gmo and them, if they had to choose, who would they pick?
I think the answer is obvious. It's Jalen. It has to be Jalen. This is not even a prisoner of the moment thing. Number one, he's gotten further than Melo has. Melo only got to the second round. Jalen 3 for 3, making the playoffs. And he's been incredible in the postseason. Every time he's played, he's actually elevated his play in the postseason. He's been top tier playoff performer for the Knicks, because Melo was nasty in Denver. And there's an energy. Even when we went to the Eastern Conference semis against Indiana in 2012, Garden wasn't rocking like how it's rocking. Yeah. The energy is not what the energy was.
Yeah,
there hasn't been this level of hope and optimism around this team.
It's big energy out there in New York right now.
I mean, I'm on the other side of the country, and I feel the energy. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah, it is wild.
And so, and not only that, but like, and part of this is front office because Melo doesn't construct the roster, Melo doesn't pick the coach, but they're actively building around this guy.
Yeah.
And you don't do that unless you're like, hey, we have the one.
Mm.
And I'm not sure. Did you ever feel in the NBA when Melo was there? Again, this is no disrespect to Melo, because he was in the same East as LeBron that LeBron won for like 8 straight years. Did you ever feel like Melo could be the guy to lead an NBA team to a championship?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I did.
When he was in Denver or when he was in New York?
More so in Denver. I did believe that specifically because of what he was able to do in college. So he can lead to a championship. I just feel like the pieces weren't around him he needed. And at the NBA level,
you need pieces.
You need more involvement. Yeah, you need pieces. You're not going to drop. Like we talked about, you could have 80. You're not winning that game. You know what I mean?
I mean, Knicks had decent pieces when during that run.
Yeah, they had Stoudemire. Stoudemire fucking punched a fire extinguisher.
He would have cooked Indiana. Well, yeah, we had Amari, and then J.R. Smith was there. We had Shump.
But it was tough too because I was around the same time with D Wade, wasn't that when D Wade went on his
same
run?
Time. It was the exact same time.
Yeah. So that's tough.
The Heat. Yeah, I think.
Unfortunately, you got these great players. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But you get these great players who you got the greatness around. So, think about all the, and that's another reason why I feel like people, the younger generation now, don't feel like there was great players, and Jordan was walking through people. But I sent you the thing today where like, nah, there was some. Gary Payton was a dog, and I talked about that last episode with you. And they never got to get to that final destination because you had the ultimate competitor in Michael Jordan.
I mean, you got to think about the people that he beat, even on his route to the finals. Like when he was still like young Jordan, that Cavs team he beat with Mark Price and Craig Elo.
Yeah.
They were nice.
Yeah. Nice.
And then of course he had to go through the bad boy Pistons and then Boston when he was young. He lost that series, but he dropped what was it against Boston? Like 60 something against Boston. I mean,
and it was all learning experience. Like we talked about, it's not a loss, it's a lesson, man.
Right.
So he learned from it. And he did what he did. He hit the gym, and he overcame those obstacles in the long run.
You gotta think that people stopped from getting chips, bro. All-time legends, he stopped from getting chips.
Yeah.
Ewing,
Karl Malone and John Stockton, bro. I'm telling you right now.
They was watching anybody else.
Yo, people thought I was crazy when I was like, they would have smoked Miami. They would have smoked Miami with LeBron and D Wade and them. They would have cooked them, bro.
Who's stopping them?
I'm telling you right now.
Who's stopping them? That's a bucket. It's two every time. It's two minimum every time down the floor. It's two minimum.
Easy.
He stopped Barkley and the Suns from getting the ring.
Bosh would have retired 3 years earlier. He would have had to guard Karl Malone, bro.
Paper mache. It would have been origami. That would have been bad. I mean, you got to think about the players that didn't get a ring. I mean, Clyde didn't get a ring until he went to Houston because they couldn't beat him. And Clyde was nasty, bro.
Clyde was nasty.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, right now is the most talented era of basketball because you got reserves that would cook up, but game is different now.
Yeah.
Game is different. Yeah. But I'm glad you asked that question. I think it's Brunson. I know he's only been here 3 years, but I think he's made the playoffs more times than Melo has, or the same amount as a Knick. Because, I mean, Melo was a bucket, but the team was bad.
That stat they put up where Brunson's in the same category as Kobe, and it was only Kobe, in two different things where I believe it was most points in the fourth.
Yeah.
Throughout the playoffs so far, and it's like
100-something points.
That's what you want. You want someone you can rely on in those crucial moments when it really counts, right? All right. I'd prefer you giving me fucking 17 in the fourth than 17 in the first.
100%.
It equates the same, obviously, but it doesn't with the momentum and the everything going on within the game.
I love that you mentioned. I love that you mentioned that because we also talked about it. I think this is why OKC could be so dangerous. Is that, for example, a guy like Shea or a guy like Brunson, they're gonna get theirs, but how can you get other guys involved so that they don't have to ISO ball all the time? They can't just throw that's why they were able to stop Jokic. He touched the ball and they were swarming him because there's like
Yeah,
no one else has it going right now. So we can't let him keep it close until somebody else heats up. So if you have
yeah,
a guy who's is good, he could be shooting. I mean, we've seen it from Brunson a bunch of times. Terrible shooting night, and he turns it on. He's 4 for 5 in the fourth. So we talked about you'd rather have a guy like that because as long as everybody else can get going, you want people to stay in rhythm, and then you got a guy when usually late in the game when offense kind of breaks down, you might want to milk a little bit more clock to limit the amount of possessions another team gets. You want a guy that can just say, "All right, clear out the floor. Whoever's in front of me, good night." Blouses.
yeah. Oh,
Knicks. So you got
so
Knicks in 7. But what's the
yeah,
for you? What's the
Brunson.
X factor? Brunson. Wow, that's an easy answer.
Oh, that's my
Jalen
answer.
Brunson. So
Well,
I like your
don't
pick.
get me wrong. Indiana got a star, and
Halliburton star. There's no.
yeah. So, but I think the difference maker is Brunson because, like we said, he's a
He's not
closer. He
gonna
gets it done
wither.
in the fourth.
He's not gonna wither. We've seen Tyrese have some up and down games in the playoffs, but when he's on one, I mean, I think you said it. He could pull up from 35, and you think it's going in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I like Knicks in 7. But I'm gonna say Knicks in 6. And I think the X factor is gonna be New York's ability to run the double big lineup. If they can get away with running the double big lineup for about 25 minutes a game, or maybe less than that, but 20 to 25 minutes double big, I think that's gonna give Indiana some problems. Put Mitch at the 5. Now you let Cat go to the 4, space the floor, and then that gives Brunson easy drives to the basket. So double big lineup, and then also hopefully that doesn't expose Cat as much. I mean, they're still going to put him in the pick and roll action, which could be a little spooky. But I think when you got a rim protector and it's not going to be easy buckets at the hoop, they'll just have to take some tougher threes. So I think
That's fair.
that's going to be the X factor. I like their
Indiana
bigs.
Indiana has to put the pressure on it right away. They can't
Oh,
wait.
that action has to be that early and
Yeah,
often. Cat in the pick and
yeah.
roll, and let
Get him in
Tyrese
foul
cook.
trouble
Right.
when you go from
Absolutely. Because Mitch doesn't really give you anything offensively. And
there.
you're
I'm
going to need
excited
Cat.
for this series though. So it starts Wednesday.
And then Western Conference starts Thursday. So quick turnaround for OKC. Could you potentially
Yeah,
see Minnesota stealing game 1 here? Long series, Minnesota rested.
yeah, yeah. I could see that.
So let's
I
do it.
could definitely
Who you
see
like
that.
in both game 1s? Let's start with Western Conference. Who you like game 1?
I'll take OKC. I think a win coming off a big win like this. Um, they'll be home. That crowd was rocking too. Although the MVP chants I felt were very low, like they were very faint. I still feel like that crowd was behind them. I'll take OKC at home. I'll take New York at home. I think New York opens it up. Um, so Gmo could talk a bunch of shit for another 2 or 3 days until game 2.
You know You know what's crazy? I almost wish the Knicks were opening on the road. They love playing
Yeah,
on the road.
yeah, yeah.
They love playing on. They love the energy of MSG, but I feel like they love making the crowd quiet more than they love the energy of MSG. Like
Yo,
when
I would
Brunson hit that
love if
3
I was
against
a
Detroit.
player.
Oh my goodness.
If I was a player, I would shoot a 3 until I made one on purpose, just so I go up to Spike Lee and just be like this to Spike Lee. Like I would do that almost every time too. Actually, that would be my celebration in the Garden.
That's crazy.
I'm dead serious.
I'm looking
That's what I
forward to the
want. I love
series.
that. I love that. I love that basketball. That's why when Ori was on, that shit talking like nah, like we in the this is it. you're one series away from getting to
to the
your
finals.
ultimate goal and completing it, right? So
I mean, yeah, it's surreal. I'm not gonna lie. Like, and you know what's crazy? How just a week, 2 weeks can change things. So like, obviously, the outlook on the Knicks was, you know what, dang, good season, but you got Boston, so good luck, right? And you know, if you're able to get it to 6, that's a win because no one's pushed Boston to 6 in 2 years. Now they end up winning the series, and it's like, man, if you don't beat Indiana, it's gonna be a massive disappointment. This was your chance.
yeah.
You know, you knocked out Boston. Denver's gone. So it's crazy how expectations and things could change. But I'm looking forward to it for sure. I hope we're celebrating some Knicks going to the finals. That would be a movie. Definitely gonna need Gmo on for that. Actually, he might say things that aren't allowed to be on the air, so maybe not.
He's hopefully he's the way he is because sometimes he gets on. He's too reserved.
So we both got OKC versus New York in the finals. I like OKC, but I would really love to see Minnesota. As a fan, like you said, I think a Knicks Wolves series would be.
Yeah, the storyline is there.
The big trade in the offseason, Ant Edwards pulling up to the stadium and brothers talking shit. I think Ant Edwards is more from New York than Cat.
Yo, Ant is a savage, bro.
He's a savage.
I was watching Gary Owens. He's a comedian, and he was talking about it on his show. He's like, "Yo, what kind of player or person is be like, yo, I don't want that kid." Just be, and then later the girl's like, well, too bad I'm having a kid.
Like, yo, you seen the post? I guess TMZ reported it that Rudy Gobert kicked out his girlfriend and their kid.
Yeah.
And people were like, wow, Ant Edwards or rubbing off on Rudy.
Yeah. That shit's wild.
Yo, Ant is crazy. You ever seen that video? I forgot, it was when Cat was still on the team. I think it was like in Target buying toys for kids or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you see my 2 sons right there? He's like, Cat and Gobert.
Nah, I didn't see that.
Ant's a savage,
I like that.
Bro.
Ant's who he is, right? Even in the USA clip when Obama was like, he's talking like he's him. He's like, I am him. Yeah, so
he has an opportunity to sound real special.
Yeah, I would love to see Ant get a ring, man. Especially in that stadium, in that arena, should I say?
No, not at MSG. He's gonna have to wait.
With all those people.
He's gonna have to wait. So I'm curious because there's been a lot of talk going around. And now this is the leaving infamously speaking analyst Matt and now Knick fan Matt's coming out, which is they were talking about if Brunson wins the chip, and obviously that's massive projecting because they still need 8 more wins. Where does he rank all time among Knicks?
Well,
so you said he's the best Knick.
He'd be number 1.
You think he'd be above Walt and Reed that delivered 2 chips?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, he would.
Because if he could do it now, who's to say he can't do it 2 more times?
Yes, there's that.
And the time span. I also want to take into effect of how he's getting it done.
Yeah.
Also, right, his impact in the fourth again. I hate bringing up the same thing, but that's fucking big time. So
it's almost like whenever he takes a shot. I'm not sure how you felt in game 1 when he had the look to win the game before it went into OT. When he got the ball, I was like, oh, it's over. We're winning this game right now. Like, I was stunned that he missed. He got by Drew. Look, it's a tough shot. Yeah. It's a tough shot. But I'm like stunned. Like, we're going into overtime. And at that point, I'm like, oh, damn, we might have just gave Boston a chance. Because we had exactly what we wanted. And then credit to them.
You expect it. It's almost the same thing when you see Steph shoot. You expect it to go in. At least the midi. Not the 3. I don't think he's automatic from 3, but like the midi, when he drives, it's almost like he's either gonna get fouled or he's gonna lay him up.
Yep. So it's just, I think it's tough, right? Because you don't want to be prisoner of the moment, but you also don't want to underplay or underappreciate what you're watching at the same time. Like when, like when you see Shai's doing what he's doing, or Jokic when he had that crazy game 1. or even when Jason Tatum was on a heater in Game 4 before he got hurt. Like you want to appreciate what you're seeing in the moment when Steph goes on one of those crazy runs.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, I don't want to overreact to it. But it's like, dang, man, like you don't know if you're ever going to see something like you're seeing again. And then you're like, dang, I wish I appreciated it more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you're not going to feel that way about LeBron, but
no, I appreciated LeBron in the moments. Like
I
for
know
me, one of my
you
favorite
loved it.
moments of
You
LeBron.
loved it when they lost to Dallas.
I did love that, but one of my favorite moments of LeBron is when he was jumping up and down, crying because he didn't get that call against Boston. Nah, it's funny. It's it's actually when he fucking destroyed Detroit in the playoffs.
Oh,
When he
killed
was
him.
on Cleveland. That's one of my favorite moments. So I could appreciate LeBron.
Not
I
getting,
know a lot of people think I hate LeBron. I don't hate LeBron. I promise you, I don't.
not getting no fouls. When he
If
Pat,
anything, I hate.
Pat Bev brought out the camera.
Yeah. Yo, you know what I hate the most about LeBron is that he didn't dominate the way he should. I felt he should have. Especially in moments when I thought he could have.
I think we had the
We don't
same
gotta
thing
go through that LeBron thing. We can wait till he retires and I can shit all over his career.
We have the same feeling about Tatum, right? Where it's like it's right in front of you. Don't defer. Just take take the big shot. Go do it. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for these two series. I think we're gonna get hopefully 6-7 games each one. Not quick. Not quick. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if the Knicks swept the Pacers. I'll be completely honest with you. I'll be all right with that. We could use a short series after Detroit going 6 and Boston going 6, but
actually, Gmo owes me a broom. Now you said that.
Why?
Because when the Knicks went up 2-0, winning twice in Boston, he's like, "We're gonna sweep them." He was happy. So I was like, "Oh, that's bad." But I wanted to make it friendly. I didn't want to make it like no money and shit like that. So I was like, "Let's just bet a broom. You think you're gonna sweep us? I could use a new broom."
That's a bad bet, though. Like as a friend, you're like, I can't bet you this, man. That was after. It was right after game 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that you taking advantage of someone's emotional.
Yeah.
You need a moment to calm down.
He thought they could win in 4.
No,
I said he'd be lucky to win in 5.
And we didn't win in 5 either. And the chance was right in front of us. You think no Tatum, then we got smoked.
But yeah, man.
It's like Tony in Call of Duty.
It's been a while since I've been like excited to watch the games play out for NBA. To be honest, other than like watching Steph and the Warriors, just because Steph is so fucking entertaining, and the way that the Warriors have played ball with him is, I think, the right way to play basketball.
I think now that Denver's eliminated, I saw a stat somewhere. I think this is part of why it's so interesting is the parity that we're getting now. Because for so many years in the 2010s, it was LeBron, it was Steph, it was that, right? I think now they said with Golden State, not with Denver now being eliminated, this will be the 6th straight year we'll see a different champion, or ever since Toronto won. So they won in what, 19 or 20? 19. There won't be a repeat in 6 years, there wouldn't have been the team that was a champion twice.
Prior, okay.
So, I mean, that's cool to see this parity that we're seeing in the league.
Yeah, and any of these franchises have New
Knicks.
York in 70s.
That's it. Indiana's never won NBA chip. Oklahoma City's a new franchise. They've only been to the final once. And no, Minnesota hasn't won either. So hopefully no team that doesn't have a chip doesn't get it, because that would mean the Knicks win. But it's going to be exciting. A new champ for either ever or first time in 50-something years. So it's going to be exciting. Pretty much. My only thing is this, and I saw it on social media. They're like, if the Knicks win, everybody got to pray for the city of New York, because it's going to be
wild.
It's going to be wild. You thought Philly was bad after they won a Super Bowl. Yeah, people climbing billboards, bro, jumping off of street signs, and they only won 8 games. I think also too is part of the emotion of beating Boston, because like if we beat, I was gonna say
Indiana.
Cleveland. Nah, Indiana, the rivalry's there. And after what happened last year,
It's still the rivalry. I think the New York Boston rivalry is still bigger,
which I
and
don't
it's
get
crazy because
because
I think it stems more from baseball.
for sure, like they haven't played a relevant game since what, like the 70s or 80s, where both teams were really good or something like that. It was like the 70s, I think it was. So we had those couple times in when Melo was a Knick, Boston watched us one time and then we watched Boston, but yeah. Energy is crazy. You heard it here first. Quan said Knicks are winning it all.
Nah, hell no. Hell no. They'll be lucky to win in 7. But I
Lucky
gotta
to
pull it
win?
off because of
Really?
Brunson.
Why do you say lucky to win in 7? You think Indiana's a better team?
No. I don't think Indiana's a better team.
So then why would
But
they be
I
lucky?
think because they're not focused. You guys are worried about fucking climbing up billboards and shit. That's not the focus. Hard talking shit like they won something. They ain't win nothing yet. What did you win?
What Hart say?
He was just talking shit about Brown and all this other dumb shit. So pointless stuff.
What do you think about Braun's comments? Him saying that losing to the Knicks was like death. Felt like death.
I like it.
Why?
I like it because he's being
Why the
honest.
Knicks? But why does losing to the Knicks specifically feel that way? Or do you think he would have said that if they lost to anybody?
Nah. It's because the Knicks fans are arrogant and they talk a lot of shit. So you gotta deal with that. Like, for example, if I lost to, let me think of somebody who I know. It could be anybody. They're not talking as much shit as Gmo, and I gotta hear Gmo with his wild, outlandish comments and fucking stats and shit that doesn't even matter for another 10 minutes. Or,
He's hype. He's hype.
It's almost like losing to the bully.
Mm.
Because he's just talking mad. That's all you guys do is talk shit.
But what's crazy is like the Knicks aren't really even a bully because they ain't win shit.
Team-wise, they're not. I'm talking fans, bro. I'm talking fans.
Oh. That's true. Listen, when the Knicks do good, sometimes you just don't know what to do with yourself. Because this
Clearly.
is you just listen.
Yo, so
I'm not used to winning.
I don't mind the heckling and all that shit, but when they physically assaulted that guy that was wearing a Pacers jersey, I don't know why he's wearing a Pacers jersey.
That was a bad decision, but
yeah, bad decision.
You gotta be in a group. You can't be walking solo.
Well, like, why physically?
Yeah, they're throwing trash at him. That's whack.
Yeah.
That's whack.
That's
cool.
Like,
oh, shouldn't be in this. I'm like, come on, man.
Like, you could heckle him, obviously. You could talk shit.
For sure.
Why go that extra mile?
No point in it. No point.
Because then what happens? What happens if he fought back and he gets stomped out?
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Now let's say that guy has a family.
He probably does.
You see what I'm saying?
Listen, I get what you're saying. I'm not defending the actions at all. Don't worry. I'm not for that. I don't agree with that. But
and another reason why I think I said lucky, but I was exaggerating a little bit. Like I said, I got the Knicks in 7, but Indiana's not going in New York thinking they can't win. If anything, they have the utmost confidence, I would say, because they've done it before, even with a different roster.
Yeah, I know. They should.
The main pieces, yeah,
they should have the confidence. And if you're New York, you should have the confidence to obviously, like you said, beating Boston. Now you're fully healthy going to this series. OG obviously pulling his hamstring. You got Bridges, you got Cat. So they're the ones that have different pieces who've been playing well. The only problem is New York's, like you said, inconsistency is what I think why people are like, wait a second. It's because really, if New York was played consistently, I think they're better than Indiana. They have a better starting 5. And they should be able to not run them off the floor, but beat them pretty well. The only problem is, well, how's Cat going to be with foul trouble? Is OG going to only hit one basket? Because it's like sometimes the shot's on and sometimes it's just way off. Is Mikal going to get going early instead of waiting until the fourth quarter to score his first bucket? That's the concern.
When you say beat him pretty well, what does pretty well mean? About 10?
Yeah, they could beat him by double digits.
Consistently.
I think so. Mm-hmm. Talent-wise, I think so.
Is this the host Matt or is this the fan Matt?
No, just watching the games. Honestly, because the Knicks Knicks could turn it on defensively as good as anybody. We've seen it. We saw it even against Boston. Obviously, yes, Boston, before all the Celtics fans hop on me, yes, they missed shots. But in that game, they played some wild defense on Boston in the closeout game. Like we haven't seen before.
That was easy. What? Yes, they did. But it was easier to do that.
Yeah, because no Tatum.
No Tatum. And prior to the great defense, they were missing wide open shots already.
Yeah, here we go. Celtics fan.
No, I gave
man.
the Knicks credit. The Knicks did play great defense. I'm not taking that away from them. I'm just saying it was easier to play great defense, without a doubt.
Oh, for sure, because you're like, hey, wait a second. You know, their confidence.
All we gotta do is swarm Brown because nobody else is making shit.
Nobody making shit.
Think about the blocks. The blocks was on Brown.
That should be the game plan always, though.
The closeout was on Brown.
It was on Brown always. It was like
that's what I'm saying.
It was like today. Closeout was on Jokic because ain't nobody else doing shit.
Exactly. There you go.
But that's what it should always be.
Now he's learning.
Now I'm learning. That's what it should always be.
I'll just mess with you, bro.
Like the closeout should always be on Brunson. Make someone else beat you. That's how. Like
the problem is it's very hard to close it on Brunson, bro.
Oh, it is because
he's shifty.
Yeah,
he's shifty.
I agree, and he makes good basketball decisions too. So, yeah, I mean, I think we could. I'm not sure if every game I want to see super close.
Like what I want to see. I want to see. I gotta be. Oh shit, the blanket fell. I gotta be the top villain. Shout out to Wade Matthews, my brother.
Just dropped a new song too.
Yeah, I want to see the Knicks lose, and I want to see Brunson and his dad crying, embracing each other. That's what I want to see.
You gonna have AI make a picture for you?
I want to see the heartache of them crying together.
That's not funny. Why would you do that?
I'm not laughing. I'm being that serious. I would love to see that.
You want to drink the tears of the Knicks fans?
That would make my day.
That's terrible. Even though you know it hurts so many people close to you? Or is that part of the reason why you want to see it?
No. They got to celebrate. They would celebrate like they won a chip. So you got your celebrations off.
I didn't though.
Well, sorry, brother.
I in fact did not.
I
know they was calling me out. Or it was like, why are you acting like they lost? I'm like, because it's just not over, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not over. True. Now that we got past Boston, I have expectations.
Here's the crazy shit. If you guys lose, right? Because you guys are already in talks of picking up another big name.
I've heard this.
So if you guys were to lose, I don't think your future is over. Like a lot of teams are.
Well, somebody would have to go. They're talking about the potential of maybe Cat would be involved in a deal.
Yeah, get rid of Sassy Cat.
Listen, if that meant Giannis comes to New York, I'll take that. You remember Giannis and Brunson? My gosh. My goodness. You just need to keep some shooters around you.
Yeah. Like I said off air last time, and we'll save it because we're going into the hour. I'll save it. But I know what I want for the biggest acquisition to happen this offseason.
Start off the show next time with it?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Look at that cliffhanger. Cliffhanger on the show. It's crazy. Wow, this guy gets it. You see, now you're learning. Talking about me getting it. Now he's getting it. Keep the people coming back for content. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please remember to hit the subscribe button. Support the show. Like the video. Share with friends, family, anyone else that you think would enjoy hot sports takes. Great conversation. And Quan the comedian. That's why we keep him here.
That's why I'm here.
And that's it. And as always, think critically, speak infamously. Love.